Hello friends, and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we made a lot more progress in this pack, setting up a bunch more recipes, doing our cheesecakes and making jams. So now we are moving on to some cakes and cookies, but before we get to that, we need to do a little refactoring and set ourselves up an automated tofu factory. Not just the tofu factory you see behind me, but extending this out to make all of the varieties of tofu that we're going to need for the rest of the pack. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So in the near future in this pack, we are going to be making a variety of different recipes for our winter quest line here. Not a whole lot, but enough here that it does leave me a little concerned that we are going to need more ingredients than we have access to. We should start setting ourselves up the necessary ingredients here in an automated factory so that we don't have to worry too much about it. Predominantly, we are worried about the various types of tofu that we are going to need. Smoked tofu, cooked tofu, sliced tofu, all of those sorts of things. Now, this has been our tofu production plant for a while now, but it's in need of a significant upgrade. So what we are going to do today is start preparing for that upgrade. So first things first, let's go ahead and get started by removing some of the pieces here that we had previously set up and start setting this ready for expansion. So we're going to go ahead and take the basin that we created before, and we are going to use that to insert into our tofu storage drawer, just the same as we had before, but now we actually have item pipes, and that's going to make this go a lot easier for us. So let's go ahead and put this right about here, and we will just wrench that so that can start pulling. Great. Now, previously I had doubled the speed of this by adding a second set of basins, but we are ready to improve that even further by adding even more basins. So let's go ahead and add some more mixers and some more basins and more item vaults to this setup so we will be ready to go. So we will go buy all of those things from our shop real quick here. And I think the main limiting factor here is going to be how big we can make this vault before it ends up, locking us in. No, before we can't extend it anymore. I think we can do one more. Yeah, just like that. So that'll give us plenty of room to work here. And we don't actually even need to use wooden hoppers anymore, but we've got plenty of them left over, I think, somewhere around here. Maybe it's in my other inventory, but we had more than enough wooden hoppers so that we should be able to do a lot with this. It looks like I also have an extra basin left over for some previous work, so we can start putting all of this together real simple here. Let's go ahead and buy ourselves up a few more basins. I think, let's see, how many do we need here? It looks like we've got 2 more slots, so we can do 2 more basins. Just like that. Okay, there are our basins, and we can start putting the mechanical mixers on these, but first I want to lock the recipe on these to make sure that this is only ever going to make our soy milk for us, just like that. And then we also are going to need to use these smart fluid pipes to lock the recipes coming out. Now, I know that you can put the various smart fluid pipes further down the line in theory, but I've only found that this works properly if it's coming right out of the tank. So we're going to give this a shot and see if that works for us. And actually, this is probably not the best way to do it anyway, now that I'm thinking about it, because there's a better way to do this, and I'm going to set that up real quick. And so this is what we are going to do. I've pulled all of those pipes off of here, the mechanical pipes, and we are moving on instead to fluid pipes from the Pipez mod. So we're going to add an advanced pipe upgrade to that. We are going to whitelist to that, and we are going to make sure that only soy milk is ever going to be used in here, just like that. So that should work for us. And then we can continue this all the way around here if we want. So pulling out of here, and we can again tell this exactly the same thing. We only want to ever use soy milk in this, and so forth and so on. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way down this line. All right, and with that done, all we have to do is pipe it up into our main tube here and into our basin, and there we go. All of our soy milk production is working for us. Now, we are also going to increase the number of basins here, so let's pull off our fluid drawer that's only got soy milk in it, and we're going to end up putting that somewhere else. I think we can just go ahead and put it like right here, and then we'll be able to get access to this as we need. Now the only thing we need to do is drop down underneath here and behind this so that we can start wiring up all of the tubes for this that we're going to need. And we can run the pipes right along the bottom here. These will start filling with water slowly but surely. It does look like we might need to increase the amount of water, so we'll go deal with that in a second. But the last thing we're going to do while we're down here is pull off these wooden hoppers, because we don't need those anymore, just like that. And instead what we can do is use our item pipes, which will pull out at a plenty fast rate for us. We just need some more room in our inventory for all of these various things. So let's do something like this, and this will start pulling into here with no problem. All right, all of these are getting soybeans now. All we need to do is go ahead and buy up all of our mechanical mixers. So we're gonna need 4 of those. There we go. Everybody is now making soy milk as quickly as it can, and I think that should start filling up for us. Well, it finally happened. It looks like that was too much and we have overstressed our system. So what we're going to do now is actually use these fluid pipes that we had run underneath here to upgrade our various systems on this side. So our original boiler had just used nothing but campfires, but we are going to upgrade this, so instead of campfires, this is going to be running on seed oil. So we're going to clear all of this out and start supplying some blaze burners underneath here that we can then pipe seed oil into. So we just need to run our seed oil up and around from down here up into that spot. So I've run our fluid pipes over this way. Now all we have to do is buy up 4 blaze burners, 2, 3, and 4. And now we just need 4 straws. So we can get that from our create section here. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. All right, so it looks like our inventory is way too full again. Let's just clear this out real fast. All right, so blaze burners we can put down right here, but these will not connect until we actually put the straws on them. As soon as we do this, there we go. It's all lit up. We've got more than enough power now. All we have to do actually is to replant this field a little bit to get everything back to working the way it should be, because we did break it during the time that that was disconnected. All right, so it does look like we have a trader who's come to stop by. It doesn't look like you have anything I particularly want, so we're not going to worry about you right now, but we are instead going to get back to expanding out our mechanical presses. So let's see here. I might need to free up a little bit of room, but we need to buy ourselves at least another basin here to double this. Maybe we go ahead and set up 2 and see if we can keep up with that production. And then we will need our presses to go with it, of course. So let's just grab those out of here. Perfect. All right. So, excuse me, llamas. If we put these here, we should also then need to put the blaze burners underneath for the same purposes as we had done before. So let's make sure we've got those. And of course we do need our straws again here. I'm hoping this will still be able to keep up with the seed oil production. We will find out pretty quickly though if that is the case or not. We might need to expand operations for that to work. Okay, there's that going. We need to put these on, so we'll put these on like this. And oops, one more. There we go. Give me your oak slab out of that. We do need to pull our items back out, though, is the only limitation here. So let me go ahead and set that up real fast. Okay, so there is our upgrade. We have 6 of these mixers going. That is powering effectively 3 of these mechanical presses, really like 2.5, but that's giving us lots and lots of tofu. So the first phase of this construction is complete. The second phase now is to expand out this direction so that we can actually process this tofu into the various recipes that we need. So I've built us a nice little oak box to start building from within, and now we can just start running our tofu into our various machines that we're going to need here. So taking a look at our recipes, we are going to focus on silken tofu and our sliced tofu next. Silken tofu is easy. We just need to get some water in here, which we can get from our infinite water source where we're piping everything else. And then our sliced tofu is even easier because we can just run our slicer into that. So then all we'll have to think about is how we're going to get the rest of this into smokers or blast furnaces depending on their need. So let me go ahead and get started setting this up real quick. We will need to run some power over here. So I think we will use this source of power here, and potentially we will run it closer to the roof for powering most of this stuff because that'll make it a little easier. So maybe we'll start knocking out the roof here and then bring this over from that spot. Alright, so first things first, we need to put in our slicers. So let's see here. If we come over, I think we can just put these right next to the wall here. I think that'll be fine for them. We do need to make sure they're going in the right direction, and we'll find out very quickly by putting, nope, that's the wrong gearbox. I want to put the vertical gearbox on here, just like so. And now we want to put the cogwheels on the bottom of that, and it looks like yes, so this is telling us this is going in the wrong direction. The easiest way to fix that is to wrench off this gear right there, excuse me, this shaft, and then we can put this on here, our gearbox, and now this is rotating in the correct direction. We of course will attach some rotating knives to that, which is a safe thing to do. There we go, and we can just put a basin directly underneath that, and that will slice for us as soon as we are ready to start slicing. So if we pipe our items into that, I think we're going to do this from the back for simplicity. Just like this, we should be able to wrench that, and this will immediately start making tofu slices and minced tofu. Now, this is going a little too fast for us, so let's go ahead and grab everything out of there real quick, and now we can tell it that we only want tofu slices here. So this will lock that recipe for us, and we won't have to worry about that. Alright, so in all of these cases, we are going to want to pull items out, and we are going to round robin them into a variety of different places. So this tofu slices actually needs to go into about 3 different locations, and we might want to expand this section as well as we go. So we're going to set this up so that we can expand it in the future. So I think what we'll do here is maybe we put some temporary storage buffers in the middle between this and everything else that we're going to be doing with it. Although, now that I think about it, it might make more sense to just run this into some sort of a central supply so that we can actually pick all of this back up from the front here when we are ready for it. So maybe that's what we'll do. So if we go ahead and lock this, our tofu slices, that should only put tofu slices in there, and this will start pulling out of there slowly but surely into the tofu slices box once we connect it up. It looks like I did not connect it up. Let's finish running our pipes here. There we go, and tofu slices are coming in here. So now we want to make sure that this pipe will round robin, but we want to also lock it so it's only getting the right ingredients back out. So let me go ahead and quickly put the tofu slices into my hand here. And now we need to grab up some upgrades, and I think we need at a minimum advanced pipe upgrades for this to work the way that I want it to. So let's go ahead and add advanced pipe upgrades here. We are going to tell this that we want only to pull tofu slices out and nothing else. That will create a filter so that it doesn't accidentally pull tofu that is not finished into this basin here, just like it's doing right there, which is not what we want. We need to tell it to actually filter that, and it looks like I just forgot to save that. That's not a problem. We can put this back in here. Okay, great. So this is going to be used for our second slicer, which we can put here. And we will put our second knife onto that, just like so. So, there we go. And now all we have to do is connect these up real quick, doing exactly the same thing that we had done before here. All right, there we go. Now we are pulling our second set here, just like that. And in theory, what we could do is actually use one set of pipes for everything. So the easiest way to do that is we can go over here and buy ourselves up another storage controller real quick here. Let's grab that, throw it here, and now this will accept those items. Let's come over just a little bit here so we can set our minced tofu in here. We are going to lock this one up real fast, pull this over, and now we just change our tool from a locking tool back to our configuration tool, and this will link all of this up. And now our minced tofu will go into this box as soon as we tell it it needs to. So again, we need to filter this one more time. We come here, we wrench this once, and let's go ahead and make sure that we have our minced tofu in hand, just like that. And now when we go and put this in here, we are going to add a minced tofu. There we go. That's our filter on that, and only minced tofu will come out. And now we can actually just run this right back into this same line. And it should then only pull minced tofu here. So there we go. That looks like that's working. We can put this in here, and we already have, whoa, 1,000 slices of tofu and a whole bunch of minced tofu as well, and still more on the way from here. All right, so all this is doing what we wanted to do. Sorry, it's very loud. I'll probably turn this down in the final edit. Okay, great. So that is going to be our sliced and our minced tofu. Now we can move on to silken tofu. So to get this set up, we need to be a little cheeky with it. We are going to pull from our infinite water supply that I set up over here. Again, this is a basic setup. We've done this in a couple of episodes where we're using mechanical pumps powered by water wheels to get a fluid tank full. And from here, we are going to run this as a pipe up and over to the top of this. We're going to come up a little ways here. We're just going to do this kind of cheeky. We're going to actually run this way with it so that we are doing it above the top of it, and it's going to come in through the roof. So that's going to be how we get our water into the facility. So to get this set up, I've got my fluid pipe coming in from over here with my seed oil, so I can put that down onto my blaze burner. I do need to buy myself another straw real quick, just like so. There we go. Now that's heated up. We can throw a basin on top of that, and we can put our mechanical mixer on top of here. Now you can see there, it is making indeed silken tofu for us. If we grab back up our tofu out of that, we can lock that recipe so it doesn't make anything but silken tofu, just like that. And then we can pull from our item pipe back out again, and again we use our wrench to wrench that. We will use our advanced pipe upgrade in that, and this way we can once again tell it, only pull out silken tofu and nothing but. There we go, just like that. All right, so now we need this to go into the rest of our system here. One thing I'm finding is that there is some backflow problems where if I insert it into this same network, it will allow this to accept items that I don't want it to accept. That is a problem. So if I'm pulling out of here, for instance, it's putting silken tofu into this basin. That's not where we want that to go. So what we can do instead here is run a separate line here, and we have just wrenched this off into its own little section here, and so it's not connected, and now we don't have to worry about that. The only thing we do want to do, of course, is once again lock this system. Now there's a variety of ways that I could get around this, primarily by putting all of my outputs into, say, like a single chest or something, and then have this be sorted out. That would work just as well for us, but for now I think this will do okay. Alright, so I am not going to try and make everything in this because it would be way too difficult to do that. So I'm really just going to focus on getting the cooked and smoked version here. I don't think we really use the smoked for much in this pack. Yeah, pretty much nothing. We don't need smoked tofu for anything. Smoked tofu slices. We might do a little bit of smoked toefish after this, but that's really it for that. So I think we maybe don't even need to do any smoking. So maybe let's just focus on just the cooked versions of all 4 of these. And then if we need the duplicative cooked smoked versions of these for anything in the future, I think it's only used for a couple of recipes here for this. Yeah, it's used for a couple of sandwiches, but not enough that I think it's going to really hold us back. So maybe we do cooked smoked tofu slices, and that's the only one that we will worry about for this. But everything else, we're just going to do the cooked versions. So that means we need to cook all 4 of these in a bulk blaster. So the easiest way for us to do that here is to set up one fan and have it run across a series of 4 different depots here. So let me go ahead and do that. Just like so. There we go, 4 depots. And that's going to be all of our depots that we're going to need for all of this cooking. So we can actually just put those maybe in a line here if we wanted, and that should give us what we need. So we could do something just like this, for instance, and then we can blow the fan all the way across all of those. Alright, so we should be able to go ahead and put a fan here to start blowing onto all of our various ingredients. And I think we're going to drop these ingredients from the top, and then we are going to pull them out from the side here using some sort of a contraption or setup here. Alright, so I've set up our smoking and smelting station here, and this gets a little bit complicated, so let me talk through it a little. So we have 3 depots here that we are going to be inserting items onto from the back side, and then we're going to pull those off from the front side. So this is for bulk blasting, and then smoking, we only have 1 item here. So we have the 3 types of tofu that need to actually be bulk blasted. Our tofu patties, our cooked tofu slices, and our cooked tofu. Meanwhile, those cooked tofu slices also need to be smoked to make our smoked cooked tofu slices. So those are going to go back into the system. Now, while I was figuring all of that out, I learned a couple of things about the Pipez mod, which I had confused in the past, and I'm going to redo this entire setup based on this new knowledge. Now, the pipe mod filters are not what they say. They are actually the reverse of what they say. What does this mean? So for here, I have our advanced pipe upgrade that I put in here, allowing us to set filters. Now, what we want to do is set this into blacklist mode from wherever you're pulling it. And then on each individual item, you want to set a filter with a destination filter. So if I grab up my filter destination tool, I can click exactly where I want this to go, this side of this container. And then I can add each item repeatedly as I'm pulling out here to edit and set that to be that destination here. That only works if you set the mode to inverted. When you do that, it'll only deliver this item to that location and to no other location in the whole system. So that's what we want to do here. So for instance, if we want to set up this pipe to not dump items into all of the other various pipes, what we need to do is make sure that our destination filter is first set on the back of our storage controller, just like that. And now when we come here, we want to set this to blacklist mode with our advanced pipe upgrade in it. We're going to add to that the item that we're actually pulling out. In this case, it's going to be our tofu slices. And then we tell it that destination just like that and make sure to invert it. And so when we do that, it'll only deliver this to the storage drawer. So if I pipe this back into our system, just like so, they will not show up into this bin even though it's on the same network. It'll only go into the storage drawer there. Now, we do want to put it into this basin as well. So you can see this basin is now currently empty. So we're going to grab from here that destination, and then we go back to our settings and we can add another one here. So tell it tofu slices, tell it this destination for it, invert it, don't forget that, submit. And as you can hear, that now is pulling into our system properly as well. So we just need to go through and repeat this for each of our various items. So now, if we want to start smoking new items into our system here, we can very easily set that up by just adding a new destination. So if we come here to the first container, we can set a destination of this depot right on this side. And then we just need to come back to our original tofu block. And now we can add another filter. So we tell it we want, gotta drag it, there we go, tofu to go in here to this destination, and we want to invert that. And now tofu blocks will also be delivered just to this station here. So we need to do that for all of these for anything that needs to be smoked, bulk blasted. So the next thing that we're gonna bulk blast is gonna be tofu slices. So we can come here to tofu slices and do the same thing. So let's add a new destination. We're gonna tell it tofu slices, come on, there you go. And set that destination like that, invert it, and submit it. And now those are being stacked here. So I'm going to finish setting this up real quick, and we will be back in a second when all of that laborious work is done. All right, and there we go. Everything is now working perfectly. One last thing I did forget to mention, make sure that you set these to round robin, or some of your actual basins and various stations will only get items once the previous ones are full up. Now, if you want that with nearest first, you can certainly do that, but round robin will assure that everything gets equally distributed amongst your various locations. So now we have all of the tofu related items that we could possibly need for the rest of the pack. As soon as some of these get cooking a little faster than they're doing right now. Our cooked smoked tofu seems to be a very big bottleneck right now, but that should take care of itself in the near future. Also, just to note that this part here is made out of stone bricks because it kept catching on fire. The lava kept putting off sparks, and those sparks kept catching on the wood, and that was problematic. So instead of having our entire building burning down regularly, we just did a small stone brick section to fireproof this area. Alright, so I have finished off the interior, done some decorating a little bit here, added some lighting, added some windows at the top, and we have also finished off the exterior. So here is our finished tofu factory. Now, in the next update of this pack, I am going to make our various casings much cheaper, so look for that update in the near future, because I love decorating with these. I did a bunch of brass casings on top of copycat slabs on the outside here, and brass bars to decorate this a little bit more, so it makes it look a little more put together. Sort of a, I don't know, Art Deco sort of style building slightly, but the only thing I don't love about it is the way that the stone bricks here are overlapping with the oak planks. So I might come back and redo that part, but otherwise I think this looks pretty darn good, and I can definitely live with this as our tofu facility. Now, unfortunately, that build took way longer than I was expecting, and as a result, we have run out of time to do any more fall quest lines for today. So we're going to call that the end of this episode of Enterprise Architecture. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!